The film begins with Ray in the courtroom, where we learn that his wife Martha has filed for divorce against him in order to obtain half of his wealth. Before the lawyer whom Ray hired begins his defense, Ray declares to the judge that he agrees to the divorce and is willing to give his ex-wife half of his fortune. After the session, Martha is devastated and tells him that she had wished they could continue their life together. Ray replies, "I can't continue my life with a woman whom I know has cheated on me." She then tells him that she, too, loved another man, and that is why they had to divorce. She also tells him that any other woman he would marry would be very lucky. The next day, his friends throw him a party to celebrate his return to being single. His friend Norman tells him that he knows many women and that he will arrange a date for him with one of them. Ray tells him that he wants to settle down, get married, have children, and live a stable family life, and that he will look for the right wife himself. The following day, Norman is in Ray's office and begs him to lend him $20,000, promising to return the money within 6 months. Ray refuses and tells him that he will only lend him $10,000. Norman thanks him and invites him to the opening party of an art exhibition for a famous artist friend of his. He also tells him that he has arranged a date for him with a girl who will be at the party named Cheryl. When Ray goes to the party, he meets Cheryl, but he does not like her. When she asks him to go with her to his house, he refuses and walks away from her. He accidentally bumps into Lena, causing the juice she is holding to spill on her dress. He tries to apologize to her. At that moment, Cheryl says, "You hurt me." Lena tells Ray, "Apologize to your girlfriend first." He tells her that Cheryl is not his girlfriend. Lena gets angry and tells him, "You hurt your girlfriend's feelings because you are a selfish man like the rest of men," then leaves. At that point, Ray tells Norman, "I don't want you to arrange any more dates for me." A week later, Ray meets Lena at the supermarket, and she apologizes for what she said to him at the party. Ray appears to have started liking her and tells her, "My name is Ray." She tells him that her name is Lena, and he asks her to have dinner with him. She agrees. They go to a restaurant, and there Lena tells Ray that she used to work at a sales company, and that her boss asked her to have a relationship with him. When she refused, he fired her and put her name on the blacklist, so no company would hire her. That is what made her leave the state of New York and come to live here. After dinner, Ray drives her home. When he asks to go up to her apartment with her, she refuses. Time passes, and Lena remains constantly on Ray's mind. One day at his company, Norman calls him and tells him that he is playing golf as usual every Wednesday, and that he asked all his friends about Lena as Ray had requested, but none of them knew her. That same night, Ray goes and stands in front of the building where Lena's apartment is located. He finds her returning with a young man. After she goes up to her apartment, he calls her on the answering machine, reminds her who he is, and tells her that he tried to find anyone who knew her phone number but could not reach anything, so he came to visit her. He asks her to allow him to visit her, and she agrees. Moments later, he goes up to her apartment. When he asks her about the young man who brought her home, she tells him he is just a friend. She confesses that she is attracted to him, and they spend the night together. She opens her heart to him and tells him that she used to suffer from domestic abuse, that her mother always used to beat her when she was young, and that her father never defended her. That is what made her leave home and run away. He tells her that he will make up for everything she missed. After a short period, Ray marries her. None of Lena's family members attend the wedding, but she invites 2 of her friends. A year later, they have a little daughter whom they name Tina. Time passes, and after 2 years of marriage, they go out together to the same restaurant where they had dinner the first time they went out together. There, a woman named Byra sees Lena and calls her by the name Stacy. Lena becomes visibly tense and tells her that her name is Lena. Byra then tells her that she used to be her neighbor in Texas. Lena tells her she is mistaken, that her name is Lena, that she has never been to Texas, and that she is from the state of Ohio. Doubt appears in Ray's eyes. Lena then tells him that this is not the first time someone has thought she was Stacy, and that there must certainly be another woman who looks like her named Stacy. A few days later, Ray returns home and finds Lena talking to someone on the phone. He asks her, "Who were you talking to?" She tells him that she was talking to Debbie, her friend whom she met at the gym. She then asks him about his project with the Chinese client Mora, and he tells her that he has not signed the contracts with him yet. The next day, Ray meets his friend Larry at a cafe and complains to him that he has started to feel that his marriage to Lena has become routine and that the spark of love between them has faded. Larry tells him that this feeling happens to all married people, not only him. A few days later, Larry is in Maura's office and speaks with Selena, Maura's secretary. He learns that she studied at the same university that Lena claimed she attended, and that she also graduated the same year as Lena. He asks her whether she knows his wife and tells her her name. She tells him that she does not know her. She also says that the most disturbing thing for all the students in their graduation year was that the university dean, Sam Shaw, whom they loved and who was young, died of a heart attack while speaking to their class during one of the lectures. That same night, Ray tells Lena that he signed the contracts with Maura, and tells her that Selena, Maura's secretary, graduated from the same university as her. He then asks her about Sam Shaw, who died of a heart attack at the university. She tells him that he was her classmate. At that moment, Ray realizes that she is lying to him. The next morning, he searches her bag and finds a matchbox with the name of Chanticleer Hotel written on it. When she sees him searching through her bag, he tells her that he forgot to withdraw money from the bank and that he will take money from her. Then he asks her, "Is your real name Stacy?" She tells him, "No, my name is Lena." That same day, he goes to the state of Ohio, specifically to the neighborhood which Byro told Lena she had been her neighbor in. There, he shows people Lena's photo and asks them if they know her. He manages to reach a man named Buddy, and when Buddy sees the photo, he tells him that this is Stacy, his girlfriend who left him a long time ago. He says that she used to live there, that she is not easy, and that she had deceived many men in the neighborhood. Ray tells him that she is his wife. Buddy asks him, "Did she run away from you?" Ray replies, "No." Buddy then says, "You must be rich, because all her life she dreamed of marrying a rich man." Shock appears on Ray's face. He asks him about the location of her family's house, and Buddy tells him the place. When Ray goes there, he discovers that Stacy's mother and father recognize him from the photos that Stacy sends them. On the same day, Ray takes them and drives them to the house. Stacy is surprised, but she greets them and they enter the house. While she is preparing dinner, Ray says to her, "How could you lie to your parents and tell them that I work as an agent for the American Intelligence Agency, the CIA?" She tells him that she had to make up an excuse because they kept asking to visit her to check on her and see their daughter Tina. He then says to her, "And the story about your mother beating you, was that a lie too?" She tells him that she wanted to make him sympathize with her, so she invented this lie. Ray looks shocked and says to her, "Who are you? I no longer know the woman I married." She replies, "It is enough that you know that I am your wife who loves you." At night, Ray says to her, "Your mother and father are good people. Why did you say such things about them?" She tells him, "Because they are poor, and I hate poverty. If I had stayed with them, I would have married Buddy, had children with him, and become a second copy of my mother, living my entire life in poverty just like her. That is why I stayed away from them and changed my name 8 years ago." She also tells him that she had often thought about telling him the truth, but she was afraid that he would hate her and leave her. He tells her, "I wish you had told me the truth." The next day, they take her father and mother to the airport. After that, Stacy tells Ray, "If you are going to divorce me, I want you to continue sending them money every month as I used to do ever since the day I married you." He tells her, "I don't care who you were before we got married, because I love you and I will never divorce you." A year later, they have their second child, a son named Bob. We see them on an outing with their friends Norman, Larry, and Larry's lawyer wife Elaine. At that time, Norman says to Ray, "Your son Bob doesn't look like you." That same night, Ray hears Stacy talking on the phone. He asks her, "Who are you talking to?" She tells him she is talking to Debbie. 2 days later, specifically on Wednesday, Ray is in his office and asks his secretary to call Stacy again. She tells him that she has called her 5 times, and each time the nanny answered and said that she went out and has not returned yet. That same night, while they are having dinner, Ray notices bruises on her leg. He asks her, what is the cause of these bruises? She tells him that she bumped into a chair, then gets angry and says, "It's not necessary that every time I bump into something I tell you about it." He asks her, "Did you cook this food?" She tells him, "No, I bought it ready-made." He asks her, "Then why didn't you cook?" She tells him, "Because I don't like cooking." He asks her, "Where were you today? I called you many times and you weren't home." She tells him that she went to her psychiatrist and then went to her friend Debbie's. He tells her, "I want to know the name of the man you are cheating on me with." She calls Debbie, hands him the phone, and says, "Talk to her. Ask her if I visited her today or not." He takes the phone, then tells her that no one is answering. She tells him, "You are mentally ill and you need treatment." The next day, when he goes to his office, he finds a temporary secretary in place of his regular secretary who has an emergency. At that moment, he remembers that he had seen this secretary before at his wedding, and that Stacy introduced her to him as her friend. This means that she had hired her to pretend to be her friend. That same day, Ray meets Stacy outside the house. There, he makes the temporary employee face her and tells Stacy that he found out from her that she had hired her to pretend to be her friend, and that she had been mocking him in front of her because he believed everything she told him. She tells him, "I hired her because I don't have any respectable friends." She confesses to him that she did not meet him by coincidence as he thought. She tells him that she chose him, and that the first time she saw him was at a party in New York 5 years earlier. He tells her, "At that time, I was married to Martha." She tells him that her friend Mimi Moore knows his friend Norman, and that Mimi got information about him from Norman and told her everything she learned. He asks her, "Information about what?" She tells him, "About what you like and what you hate, about the thing you love most in a woman and the thing you hate most in her. Then I arranged for our meeting at the party and put on the act for you so that you would be attracted to me. And indeed, you became attached to me, my plan succeeded, and we got married." She then says to him, "If you love me as you always say, then you will forgive me." The next day, Ray meets his friend Larry and tells him everything. Larry tells him, "Your wife is right, and if you love her, then you should forgive her and start a new page with her." A few days later, Ray is at work when the secretary tells him that the bank has sent him a statement showing the amounts withdrawn from his credit card. When he sees it, he finds that Stacy withdrew a large sum last Wednesday from an ATM at the Chanticleer Hotel. He tells the secretary, "Call Lena at home for me." She calls, but the nanny tells her that she is not there. When she informs Ray, he asks her, "What day is today?" She tells him, "Wednesday." He says to her, "Call the Chanticleer Hotel and ask about her there." She does what he asks, and the hotel informs her that Lena was there and left an hour ago. He returns home and asks the nanny to take the children and go out. She does as he asks. Ray then confronts Lena with what he discovered. She tells him, "Yes, I am cheating on you." He is shocked and asks her, "With whom?" She replies mockingly, "Ask Debbie. By the way, Debbie is an imaginary character, and I used to talk to him on the phone in front of you pretending he was Debbie." He becomes furious and asks her, "Who are you cheating on me with?" She tells him, "With the person closest to you, and I have been cheating on you with him all along." He asks her, "Are the boy and the girl my children or his?" She does not answer him. He tells her, "I love them and I cannot imagine that they are not my children." She tells him, "Yes, they are not your children." He slaps her and leaves. He keeps walking in the street, not knowing where to go. Then he remembers that Norman plays golf every Wednesday. When he returns home, he finds all the furniture broken and the psychiatrist Dr. Stein is there. When Ray asks him, "Where is my wife?" Stein tells him, "Lena called me while she was in a breakdown. I am here to assess your psychological condition because you have become a danger to her. Therefore, I will admit you to the psychiatric hospital, and you will remain under observation for 72 hours until the doctors evaluate your condition." Ray becomes furious, attacks him, and says, "Get out of my house." Stein then calls the officer who is present in the house, and the officer arrests Ray. At that moment, Stacy comes out of her room. When Ray sees her, he is shocked because there are many bruises around her eyes and on her face. He freezes in shock, and the officer takes him away. Ray is transferred to a psychiatric hospital. He calls his private lawyer and tells him, "Try to get me out of here on bail, whatever the amount is, pay it. I must get out of here." 2 days later, Stacy visits him and asks him to go out for a walk alone in the hospital garden. He asks her, "Aren't you afraid that I might hurt you?" She points to the nurse Oscar, who is walking behind them, and tells him that she paid him money to guard her and protect her from him. He asks her, "What brought you here?" She tells him that the judge's hearing is next Friday, and tells him, "I want you to know that no matter what happened between us, I love you." He tells her, "You are insane," leaves her, and returns to his room. On Friday, they are both present. Ray is with his lawyer, and Stacy is with the hospital director, who tells the judge that he recommends that Ray remain in the hospital for an additional 180 days because he is a danger to his wife. The judge then asks Ray to tell him what happened. Ray tells him that Lena was cheating on him with his friend Norman, and that she used to talk to him in front of him at home pretending that she was a friend named Debbie. He tells him that when he discovered her betrayal, he hit her with a single slap, and that any man in his place would have done that and more. The judge then summons Dr. Stein, who testifies that Stacy has been under his treatment for years, and that on more than one occasion she came to the clinic with bruises on her body as a result of Ray beating her. Ray then sees photos of Stacy in which her face has many bruises. He tells his lawyer, she did this to herself. When the judge summons Norman to testify, he denies having any relationship with Stacy and tells the judge that Ray is his friend and that it is impossible for him to betray him. When the judge asks him if he had ever seen Ray hit any woman before, he tells him that he once saw him hit his wife Martha before they divorced, when he found out that she had been cheating on him. After that, a woman testifies that she is Debbie, Stacy's friend. Ray tells the judge, certainly, Stacy hired her just as she did before and hired someone to pretend to be her friend. When Ray's lawyer asks Debbie to describe Ray and Lena's house, which she told the judge she had visited more than once, she describes the house correctly. Ray becomes furious and tries to attack Stacy, but the nurses restrain him. That same night, Ray calls Elaine and asks her to visit him the next day urgently. The next day, Elaine visits him. He tells her that he suspects his wife is cheating on him with Larry, her husband. She tells him that Larry has been distant with her for a long time, and that they must have conspired to take his money and go live together in New Zealand, because she discovered that Larry bought a house in New Zealand without her knowledge. He tells her that he wants her to be his lawyer and tells her about his plan. After that, Elaine calls Stacy and tells her, I was visiting Ray in the hospital, and because he is under the influence of the sedative medications he takes, he only said one sentence. Stacy made a mistake that will bring her the worst of evils. That same night, Ray asks his roommate for something. The next day, Stacy visits Ray at the hospital. They walk together in the hospital garden, and Oscar is guarding Stacy. Suddenly, Ray's roommate attacks him and tries to escape. Oscar runs after him and moves away from Stacy. At that moment, Ray tells her, the mistake you made was that you showed me to all people as a madman. That means I am not responsible for my actions. Then he wraps his arms around her neck and says, I will kill you and I won't spend a single day in prison because you proved to everyone that I am insane. At most, I will be locked up for a year for treatment, and then I will be acquitted because I was not conscious when I kill you. He tightens his grip on her neck, and she dies in his arms.